Good morning. In today's lecture, we'll be covering the questions on animal nutrition. We'll be doing 30 questions today. So, in question number one, they ask the diet which is plentiful in the following nutrients: carbohydrate, calcium, fiber, and vitamin C. The best one is green beans and cereals, since cereal would provide the fiber, as well as the milk would provide calcium, and the beans would be an excellent source of carbohydrates. The problem with the other three options are that either the three would only supply protein, such as fish and egg only protein, or only calcium. They don't contain all the nutrients. Now, in question two, were the factors which decrease the risk of coronary heart disease. They are low blood cholesterol, intake of processed foods, and high intake of fruits and vegetables, because fruit and vegetables contain large amount of antioxidants. And we don't cover that. Why is it D the option? Because saturated fats are unhealthy. And these are known as trans fats, whereas unsaturated fats are the healthy ones. Now, in question three, nitrogen forms proteins. Question four, breastfeeding advantage is that it provides the body with antibodies which aren't present in the formula milk. Now, the advantage of bottle feeding is that the diseases such as HIV, which can be transferred from the mother to baby, will not be transferred. Now, the basic units from which glycogen is synthesized, of course, glucose molecules combine to form glycogen, and it is the storage form. Pyrite positive test is always violet, and Benedict's test is brick red, precipitate. Now, we've done a similar to a question number seven previously as well. And question number seven, they've given us four test tubes, so we'll have to test the nutrients. So there isn't any growth. There would be in Z there would be deficiency of especially minerals such as nitrates. Y would have a deficiency of magnesium ions, and X, in the case of X, we say that the X would have deficiency of nitrates. However, since it has little growth, we can simply infer that it has been supplied with minerals, but there's a less deficiency. However, in Z, since there hasn't been any sort of growth on any level, it hasn't been supplied with nutrients whatsoever. So the correct option is C. In our question number 8, we need to know that fluoride is an element that is present in toothpaste. And why is it present in toothpaste? Because it strengthens the enamel of the tooth and helps it from decaying. So obviously, in question number 8, what the correct option will be number 3. However, we have to see from the graph as well, and if we carefully see, we will see that all three of the countries have showed the improvement. However, if we talk about that, so the answer will be number three, because although three countries have showed improvement, however, there is a declared trend to follow. Now, in question number 8, which large molecule is built from amino acids? It's obviously urea, which is the excretory product. Simple symptom of malnutrition can be treated by increased amount of protein, stunted growth. As we know that decreased amount of protein leads to kwashiorkor and other protein deficiencies in the body. There isn't any vessel mass. Now, which person requires highest energy intake? Obviously, a person who is growing his as he reaches a large amount of energy to grow his body organs, and obviously during puberty. So a child of age 5 would require the largest amount of energy compared to the rest, since the level of activity also should be taken into consideration. The 20-year-old would require more energy if he had a higher level of activity. However, he's a low level of activity. And as we get older, the level of energy requirement is decreased. Which substances are present in breast milk? We already discussed its antibodies. Strong bones, calcium and vitamin D have to be fortified with each other, because calcium basically promotes the uptake of vitamin D. Without the two, the synergistic action won't be able to occur. So you need to know that in milk there is a lot of calcium. However, since it doesn't have vitamin D, it has been fortified with vitamin D. Now the estimated energy of 75 kg open, we just have to plot from the graph into the moderate activity, and as you can see, the moderate activity line matches around 8,000. So we can safely infer that the answer will be C. The test for different food groups, again, we'll have to know the positive test for all the three reagents. The correct option is A, because reducing sugars stresses Benedict's and its positive test is orange. And similar is the case with each of the rest ones. Now, in question 16, the basic unit of glycogen, as we talked previously as well, that insulin converts glucose into glycogen, which is the storage form in plants. How adding and humans and adrenaline converts glycogen back to glucose where it is required, and the basic unit of proteins are amino acids. Now, the additional element which is present in proteins is nitrogen, whereas carbohydrates and fats, or each of them contain the same number of elements, carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. An orange precipitate is formed. Obviously, you'll be able to know that there is a presence of reducing sugars, and we know that Benedict solution tests reducing sugars with glucose. So B is the answer. In question 19, they say that there were two aquariums. After a week, the animals showed signs of distress. Why? Because they won't be supplied with oxygen. And why they won't be supplied with oxygen? Because if you've been seeing that the plants have died, and without the plants, there is a release of oxygen. Now they talk about the common elements in both fats and proteins. We talked previously as well that the only additional one is nitrogen, so the carbon, hydrogen, oxygen are same in both of them. This is a repeated question which appeared previously as well. Now you need to know in the cross section wherever the shape which is central is always the xylem and the outer peripheral portion is the phloem. So cell X is the xylem and the cell Y is the phloem. So as we need to know that glucose is transported in the phloem, it is not transported in the xylem. So obviously materials such as Benedict solution and iodine solution will be positive in the phloem. However, if you talk about the case of cell X, it is cell X contains xylem. In the xylem, there is a transport of glucose. There is only transport of mineral salts. So it would only be transported. Cell Y flow will transport both glucose and mineral salts, whereas cell X will only transport mineral salts. In question number 23, they say which the nutrients are needed to develop the baby's bones. Calcium is needed for developing baby's bones, growing tissues, protein, and red blood cells, iron. Without iron, the person would develop anemia. A person eats only lettuce leaves and water, which condition he might develop. Obviously, he would develop, he eats only lettuce leaves and water. So there's deficiency of rickets because he doesn't have any calcium supplementation. Which food provides the most energy? You need to know that fats always provide the most amount of energy per gram. The answer is B. And now another thing you need to know is that about fats is that fats contribute to the satiety, which means that you can only eat a little amount of fat at a time. And why are carbohydrates strictly prohibited for people who are trying to stay slim? That is because although carbohydrates provide lesser energy per gram, but they have a less satiety value. Thus, people who eat carbohydrates tend to eat them repetitively. Thus, they get more and more obese. Now, a good source of vitamin C, green leaf vegetables, and its deficiencies bleeding gums, leads known as scurvy. Iodine solution, positive solution test is always black, Benedict solution red, and violet blue or purple. Answer is B. Magnesium is required for the formation of chlorophyll, and we all know that chlorophyll is the green pigment which is required for the process of photosynthesis to occur. Now, our question number 29. These elements have been talked. This question has been repeated previously as well. In question number 30, they asked that which component will not function effectively if a person's diet lacks iron. Obviously, he will develop iron deficiency anemia, and iron deficiency anemia refers to the insufficient number of red blood cells. Now, you need to know the structure of red blood cells as well. That red blood cells have a circular biconcave shape and they are hollow from the center. Why? Because they have to have a larger surface area in order to carry more and more oxyhemoglobin, so more and more oxygen can be easily transported into the tissues and it can occupy a large volume. So out of all four of the options, you will need to know that which of the cells has this hollow structure in between. And as you can see, out of the four cells, A, B, C, and D, only A has a hollow structure in between. So A will definitely be the answer. Thank you for the video. I hope you liked the video.